Chainmail, spooky ghost videos, encrypted discussion were all pretty commonplace in the early days of the internet. And with no community notes or sponsored wiki articles to dismiss false information, you were basically left up to your own judgment and your fellow commoners to come up with some kind of logical explanation. Even with these tools nowadays, rumors can just run rampant across the internet, and today I want to dive into some of the creepiest internet urban legends and myths throughout the years, starting with a childhood favorite. Webkinz was a kids virtual world / plushie line. You could go out into the real world to purchase these stuffed animals, which would have a code to unlock the animal within the website. There you could take care and dress up your animals. The website itself was your typical virtual world with decor, rare items, and chat rooms, etc, etc. A feature in the game's early years was Dr.Quack's office, a doctor character that you could take your pets to when they were sick. He would then treat them, or you could get advice on how to take care of your pets, or you could just do a simple checkup. This is where our rumor starts. Like most of these myths, they were spread by children, and children aren't typically known for being very reliable narrators, so several versions of this story exist online. The general premise is you take your pet to Dr. Quack's office, and either A, he'd give you some weird medicine that would kill your pet, B, you'd have to click this poster several times where he'd then turn evil, or C, if you visited the clinic at midnight, Dr. Quack's eyes would turn red and he'd pull out a chainsaw cutting up your pets. This was an image I remember floating around on YouTube, and me being a dumb kid, I genuinely believed that it was a real still from the game of Dr. Quack murdering your pets, and I know I wasn't the only one who thought this. It really seems like all of these earlier virtual worlds for kids always had some kind of myth popping up around them. From the average flipping the iceberg in Club Penguin, to breaking the hill in Carl Canyon and Animal Jam, to the more sinister like F-Man 122, a hacker that would stalk you and eventually ruin your account, or the ghosts of Neopets that were basically just trolls that would post everything from death threats to chainmail, and they would just somehow never get their accounts frozen. Kids just seem to be so drawn to the macabre side of this like super highly sanitized world that was made for them, just slowly becoming corrupted with ghosts and killers and stalkers. And with how popular Roblox horror is today, I think it's always been like this, and it always will be like this. Our year is 2012. App Store games and gadgets were all of the rage at this time, from lighter apps to cut the rope. If an app was mildly appealing and slightly functional, you can guarantee that every single kid would be downloading it. One massive success from that time was the Talking Tom app, a pretty limited app in functionality, but its big draw was speaking into the microphone where Tom would parrot your voice in a higher tone. The success of this app saw massive spin-offs such as Talking Ben, which is almost ingrained in Gen Z meme humor, to the subject of today's myth, Talking Angela. Talking Angela was both similar and different from the others. She could access your camera and tell a select amount of facial expressions. You could send her gifts and dress her up through coins obtained from microtransactions. And lastly, she had an AI chatbot where you could type responses and receive replies. These sort of chatbots were really popular during the time, with the rise of things like Cleverbot just completely dominating the internet. So in almost no time at all, Talking Angela would quickly gain a following. It's with this chatbot feature though, that a whole slew of rumors would begin to crop up surrounding the game. Supposedly when kids would chat with Angela, she'd say a ton of out-of-pocket things, from poisoning your friends, to mildly inappropriate comments, to the downright creepy of observing objects in your home. This bred a whole new set of rumors that the people behind the camera were hackers or child predators, talking to your children. And if you look closely into Angela's eyes, you could even see the people on the other side of the software, watching you. Or the rumor of a child who played the game and now went missing. This got so out of hand you had everybody talking about it, from Facebook friends to parental guide websites to even being featured on the news. The craze for this thing was insane, and every YouTuber at the time was making videos trying to catch the next creepy thing Angela would do. If you've ever used one of these chatbots before, you know that the responses can be odd at certain times. I can't give any light into how this chatbot processed information, but there are many accounts of chatbots being fed just insane replies and then spitting out the exact like-minded responses to them. After a few of these strange responses, it seems like everybody really just went and ran with this story and crafted their own weird, bizarre narrative surrounding this app. It's a very you just had to be there moment on the internet. Coming from the depths of the popular image board 4chan, Cicada 3301 is convoluted enough it could warrant its entire own video. Cicada 3301 started as a cryptic image posted to the site's B-board. The image reads,
"Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in this image. Find it, and it'll lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck, 3301.
This image would spiral participants through multiple puzzles, image decryption, cipher decoding, and visiting real-life locations. All things that are well above my pay grade to ever understand. And it's through these puzzles that eventually they would win something. There were 3 games started for Cicada 3301, with the first 2 being solved. The third has never come to a completion. The winners of the first 2 games never being disclosed is where our legend begins. While the puzzles of Cicada 3301 were definitely real and happened, we just don't know why, leading people to come up with theories around the contest, its hosts, and the winners. Everything from Cicada being run by the CIA as a recruitment tool for talented cryptographers, the winners being given entry into the upper echelon of society, working with the elite powers that run the world, Cicada being an elite group of hackers looking for like-minded individuals to rein in a new era of the world through massive internet blackouts and crashing the world's economies. Or even Cicada being a cult, recruiting the smartest cryptographers to decipher articles that could bring about the end of the world. With something so mysterious like Cicada 3301 and the unhinged nature of 4chan, the plausibilities of these theories will widely range. But with the third game never being solved and it being nearly impossible to actually validate winners, this is one urban legend that may never have a conclusion. Around 2005, a video appeared on the internet of a man eating soup in a blank room. His eyes are censored, and he doesn't seem to be enjoying the soup. A costume figure approaches him from the door, and as the figure gets closer, he begins to cry, before another costume figure appears on his left. Theories on what this video was and who the man was range from it being a video from the dark web and this man being kept captive, forced to eat something unpleasant. The main theory being his wife's remains, it being some sort of weird marketing stunt, or just simply it's a joke. Regardless of what its intentions was, people always like to lean towards the darker theory in this legend. This video has been pretty much cracked open in recent time though, with us discovering that these characters are called Ray Ray, and they were made by the animator Raymond Percy. Rainbot actually got an interview with Raymond where he claimed that these costumes were stolen.
Most of our Ray Ray props and costumes have been stolen.
Which just further fueled the fire that this video was from the seedy underbelly of the dark web. However, more videos featuring these characters in the band Stolen Babies have appeared, with people drawing connections to this being the drummer, and it probably being from the same time that this photo shoot was taken. With Raymond Percy's connections to the lead singer, Dominique Percy, theories now seem to point to this either being some weird promotion for the band or just a weird joke that Raymond made. Regardless, without a clear answer though, you are incredibly likely to see the dark web theory for this video still pop up to this day. Username 666 is perhaps YouTube's oldest and biggest urban legend. The legend goes, if you went to youtube.com/666, you'd be met with a message, this account is suspended. However, if you continue to refresh the page, the website will slowly begin to break down, continually distorting removing thumbnails to just the numbers 666, before eventually the user would appear. Clicking the user, you'd be taken to their page, a grotesque depiction of flesh and holes. All the text on your browser replaced with 666 or the letter D. Trying to pause the video won't work. Closing the browser won't either. The video continues playing, getting more and more bizarre. Task Manager can't solve the issues, and neither will shutting down your computer. You're stuck with whatever this thing is. Until where subsequently your computer would be bricked. To set the stage for this urban legend, you really have to understand the time that this video was posted, as YouTube was still in a very primitive state. This was the prime screamer era of YouTube, so anything that was even remotely convincing evidence of paranormal activity that didn't leave you with heart palpitations from seeing The Exorcist girl was almost ate up immediately by general audiences. This on top of the fact that if you did go to youtube.com/666 during this time, you would be met with a very real message that said, this account is suspended. Further leading into the fact that this might be like a real virus or like a dark entity possessing YouTube headquarters. There were definitely people who knew that this was just a really well-made horror video, but I'd say the larger percent of the audience thought that this was a real occurrence, especially those who went and tried to do it for themselves and were met with the exact same "this account is suspended" message from the video. This belief would continue on for years, compounding in fan projects and creepypastas based on the channel, even knowing that it was fake. That was until July 2022. A moment last year brought user 666 back to the forefront of everyone's minds. If you went to any YouTube video and removed the H in watch, you'd be taken to this video. A familiar sight for anybody who remembers the original video, this was a real phenomenon that exploited a search functionality in YouTube that has sadly been patched now. This was the realest that username 666 had ever been, and this was genuinely such a cool moment for the horror community. Username 666 is such a phenomenal video that still holds a death grip on me to this day. With creator Puropedo making some of my favorite videos on the platform, as well as working on a horror game, they're just incredibly talented, and you could say, isn't username 666 an early version of digital horror? To which I'd respond with, I'd argue yes and no. And when you ask me why yes or no, I'd leave you with a simple yes. Mereana, Mordegard, Glesgorv, or MMG as I'm going to refer to it from this point on, is probably the cheesiest legend in this video, but for some reason, I can't stand it. This video genuinely makes me so uncomfortable, and I know it's gonna suck to edit this later. Yeah, so it's currently 2 in the morning, and let me just tell you, this sucks. Honestly, this is worse having it recorded back here. I'm gonna stop doing this. The legend goes, a YouTuber uploaded this video titled MMG in January of 2008. 150 people watched this video before its abrupt deletion from YouTube. The video is said to be cursed. The 150 people who viewed the original immediately after viewing it removed their eyes and sent them into the YouTube headquarters. After its original removal, another was uploaded. If you choose to watch the cursed video, it shows a very serious looking man, hued in a red light and a cloudy background. The video is very shaky and dead silent until, about halfway through, the chime of what sounds like a light bell can be heard. This gets louder throughout the video until the end, when we're shown the man up close, seemingly smiling at us. This video spawned a creepypasta, which I believe subsequently spawned the story with YouTube headquarters, and as blatantly disprovable as it is, this video still gets me for some reason. It's just like one of those early internet things that I can't shake off for some reason. A special thank you to all of my rat kings over on Patreon, Bohan, Claus Somber, and Lonely Ghoul. As always, all of my social links are in the description below, and while you're down there, go ahead and check out my second channel where I typically do live streaming. I just posted a new video over there talking about the power level of Bugbo. And with that, I've been your host, Pat Ratrick, and until next time, don't visit Dr. Quacks after midnight.